Hello again, everyone. Hope everybody's doing okay. It is a Monday for me. Oh, what a Monday. What a Monday. How many of you absolutely hate Mondays? Yeah. I don't know why. It just seems like everything in the world that could go wrong or could just go bad happens on Monday. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Reason being is because I think if we go ahead and get the crappy stuff out of the way at the beginning of the week, like we know what our week's going to be, it's horrible, okay. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we can solve that. And by the weekend, we're all chill, right? So maybe it's actually, a blessing in disguise that Mondays are just horrible. Alright, guys, today we're going to talk about phobias. And I wanted to be a little bit more lighthearted with this, so I'm actually going to give you my phobias. And I have 3 major phobias. One of them I have said from the start, I hate that I'm scared of this. Like, it makes me feel like a bad person because I'm scared of this. And I've struggled with my phobias for a while. Now, 2 of them are like really normal phobias that most people have, right? I'm afraid of cockroaches. I can pick up a spider, I can pick up a snake, I love nature, but Lord help me, let a cockroach get inside the house and I'm gonna lose my ever-given mind, alright? There is something wrong with those little things. You're not supposed to get into the microwave and get a tan, y'all, okay? So, cockroaches, no bueno. They're not funny. I don't like them, alright? I and my family, we actually are haunters. We're called haunters. And haunters are people who design, create, act in different haunted attractions, like the A to the Z of what you can think for a haunted attraction. And when I talk about haunted attractions, if you're here in Florida, Halloween Horror Nights isn't what I'm talking about, but that's the closest thing I can give to you that mainstream would know about. But we're talking about, like, haunted houses during the month of October where you'd go in and get scared. So my family actually, we specialize in that. that's our thing. Matter of fact, you can probably tell by looking around, like, there are some things that are in this room that I use and have made, and like, I have to have a respirator for the resin work that I do. My husband and I created this little light up cabin right here. It's super cute. I love this little guy. And then, like, this little feather thing up here was created for our little haunt display this past year. And if I turn my chair around, I've purposely got my chair right here. We have like a bodice made for costuming. It's one that it's like from the neck down to the waist. It's made for costuming, so you can fit costuming around. And then we have a styrofoam head that we use to, just put different things on. Like if I'm making a mask or if I'm making a headdress or something like that, we'll use a head form. Well, we had some eyeballs. Like the cheap looking eyeballs. So if I move this chair, you're going to see styrofoam head on top of dress form with these big, huge eyeballs sticking out. Excuse me. So yeah, like we have some weird stuff. So you would think I make scary. I think about how to be scary. It's a 24/7 thing for us. We design all kinds of stuff to make people pee themselves. That's basically what it is. So what do? Like, why am I scared of that? Why am I scared of cockroaches? If I specialize in fear, why am I scared of cockroaches? The only reason I can think of that I'm scared of cockroaches, and this is what I say to do, if you have a phobia, try to figure out what triggered the phobia. Not that it's gonna help. It hasn't helped at all. But when I was a little girl, I was sleeping over at my abuelita's house, and she would hang up the clothes on the line. Well, when I would stay over there, I'd wear like one of an undershirt, like one of the men's undershirts to sleep in. I was real little. I'd sleep in a little undershirt. And I remember abuelita putting me to bed, and I called her in there. Ulita, something keeps sticking me. Something keeps sticking me. It felt like a sticker, like a, the ones that you step on. If you're in Florida, you know what I'm talking about. Those things are hell. Anyways, I thought I had one in my shirt. And so my abuelita, mijita, come here. Let's change your shirt. It's okay. So she took off the shirt, and when she took off my shirt, this huge palmetto bug come flying out. I went to screaming, right? Ever since that day, I am afraid of cockroaches. I can't do it. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm afraid of cockroaches. They absolutely make my skin crawl. I can't touch them. Even when they're dead, I can't touch them. I have a friend that I work with, and he finds it funny. Because in school, you always get like dead bugs. It's just what happens to old schools. Like that's a thing, right? So we'll often come back from the summer and they've sprayed just to make sure that the bugs are out right before the kids come. But that means you've got like dead bugs like in the hallways. And my friend that I work with, he thinks it's hilarious to try to kick those things at me. Not funny. Not funny. Okay? You know who you are. Not funny. Anyways. The other thing that I'm afraid of, again, pretty classical phobia. I have chlorophobia, fear of clowns. I don't know where that came from. No, I do know where that came from. When I say this, first off, let me make sure everybody understands. My mother is a wonderful woman. All right? Wonderful woman. I love my mama. My mom used to dress up as a clown, and she collected clowns. All right? And my mom was a very stern Southern mama, She wanted to make sure that we grew up to be good people. And we did. But when Mama said she was the scariest thing in the house, Mama was the scariest thing in the house, right? Mom used to dress up as clowns. And I remember her being, when I was real little, I remember dressing up as clown for like Halloween and things of that nature. But as we got older, she collected clowns, and we weren't allowed in Mom's room. That was Mom's sanctuary. Which as a parent, I now understand completely, right? But that was Mom's sanctuary. So not only were we not allowed in the room where the clowns existed, but Mom was the scariest thing we knew, and she liked to dress up as a clown. So I'm pretty sure that I got chlorophobia just from that. And for whatever reason, I was allowed to watch it when I was 13. Now guys, I'm not talking about the new version, obviously, because I'm old, right? But I'm talking about the old one with Tim Curry, and as lovely as that man is, he is terrifying. He's terrifying as Pennywise. And so I watched it, and I will tell you this, I did not take a shower by myself for 6 months, alright guys? Like, no, I was scared to death that the clown was going to come up through the drain. Seriously. Fast forward many years later, my husband and I go to Halloween Horror Nights. A friend of ours is an icon that year, and there were multiple icons. They were all kind of like in their little scare zones on the street, and we were visiting with our friend who was the storyteller. And I'm, talking to her, and she's kind of like, we're watching her scare people, and it's great, right? Because I love that stuff. And we're watching her scare people. And we were, like I said before, we were really huge Horror Night fans, so we had a lot of friends that would come up when we would go. And I was looking one way, and I felt a whoosh. Like the wind up by my face, right? And I was like, okay, it's probably one of my Orlando friends. Yeah. They do that a lot. They run up to me. So I felt the whoosh, and as I'm turning my face, turning my face, my husband goes, "Oh, shh." I'm face to face with Jack the Clown. Face to face with Jack the Clown. I take off running. As I'm running, like, my head's getting all spinny. Like, I swear I'm going to throw up. My husband finds me all the way down past Mel's. near Transformers, near the lagoon, breathing for my life. Oh my goodness, and that's not like the very first time I've ever been face to face with a clown. The kids have a story of when they were little and we went trick-or-treating, there was a little clown that in my brain it put two phobias together, and I'm going to talk about that next phobia, and like I said, that next phobia makes me feel like a horrible human being. But it put two of my phobias together, and I could not. Like, I couldn't move. This little kid's got like this baby toy chainsaw that ain't even scary, and he's like, in the face. I'm just like going around my husband, like, my husband's like, you need to get the little baby it, or I'm gonna get the baby it. Like, that's what my husband's telling the parent. And so, clowns. I'm scared of clowns, you know? It's a normal phobia, though. It's an absolute normal phobia, and that's kind of the reason why a lot of haunted attractions use them. It's an easy scare. It's not one of my favorite scares because it's just a phobia. Like, you don't really have to reach too hard for it. I get it. I get why you do it, because it's a scare, right? But I'm not a fan of clowns, because one, it's a phobia, two, it's just really easy. The other phobia, like I said, I am really ashamed of this phobia. I'm a little bit better now, and I will tell you, when we get into this, I'll tell you why I'm a little bit better than what I was. So when I was about 8 years old, I watched Something Wicked This Way Comes. And in the movie, it was a little scary for my 8-year-old self. A little scary. And in the movie, the ringmaster has two small people that kind of do things for him. And for whatever reason, the movie had them looking very evil. Well, I know the reason, but, in the movie they looked very evil. And my 8-year-old mind associated little people with bad things. So from that point on, I thought I was scared. And I actually had a nightmare one night. I had a nightmare that a little person was chasing me through the house with a gun. And I fell down. We were living in Michigan at the time, and I fell down the basement steps, and when I hit the bottom, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't scream. And that just traumatized me. Like, that nightmare honestly traumatized me. So from that point on, I had this fear of little people. It's not a fun fear. Not a fun fear at all. I don't like making people feel bad for things that they can't help. I really don't. It's not something that I think is cool at all. But it is a valid fear. I am phobic of little people. So much so that during Halloween Horror Nights one year, they did a scare zone called Path of the Wicked. And in Path of the Wicked, it was, what if the Wicked Witch of the Oz won? What if she won? What would Oz look like? And so you had like a really scary looking lion and gruesome looking Tin Man and Scarecrow, and you had flying monkeys, and you had the witch, she's calling out to the crowd, never in my mind did I think Munchkin. Let me get this straight. Never in my mind did I think there would be a Munchkin in here. I don't know why, I just didn't think that. And there was really thick fog in that scare zone. And we could barely see our hand in front of us, walking along, and all of a sudden I bump into something. Okay. There's nothing there. Okay, there's nothing there, but I feel something. Please let it be a garbage can. And I put my hands lower, and as soon as I put my hands lower, they clasped around a head. And I realized that I was holding somebody's head in my hand. And I looked at my husband and I was like, I'm holding a human head. And about that time, I guess fate decided to conspire against me, and all the wind blew every bit of the fog out of the scare zone. And I looked down, and I am holding a little person's head in my hands. And that little person happened to be Wee Man. he did some guest acting for Halloween Horror Nights. Terrified. Terrified. Okay? I drop my hands, he looks at me, and he goes, bah! Like, that's all he did. Bah! Like, he made this face. I don't even know. Like, it was terrifying. I'm not even sure I got that right, okay? It's terrifying. I pushed him over, and I ran. I just ran all the way down to Twister. Now it's not even Twister anymore. I don't know what it is anymore. But yeah, I ran all the way down. I don't, like I said, I don't find that it's great that I have that fear. It's something that I actively work to get rid of because of the fact that it's intolerant. It really is. And I don't like making people feel bad. That's the whole, I don't like making people feel bad. So, last year, like I said, I'm a little bit better now, but last year I had something happen that I knew odds were eventually, teach long enough, it'll happen. I actually had a student who was a little person, and she's a dwarf. That's what she told me to call her. She educated me on the different verbiage and why the M word is very offensive. So do not call a little person the M word. That is very offensive. You call them a dwarf. So she, educated me. I love her. I love her so much. I love her so much. But she also knew she could scare me. She did. Because at the beginning of the school year, I didn't want her to hear from the older kids that I had this phobia and then her feel bad around me. So I did call her in and I explained to her, I have a really bad phobia and it's not nice and it's intolerant and I'm sorry. And I told her, I said, and if you don't like me as a person, I understand because I wouldn't like me as a person. And she kind of smirked and she goes, it's okay. It's okay. I said, so you're willing to give me a try and let me get over this? And she's like, yeah. And she was in my class. I love her, but she knew I was afraid of her. Occasionally, if I'm at the computer and I'm like really, I teach yearbook, so I was like putting in pages and correcting things and all that, she'd know that I was paying attention to that, and she'd just kind of like pop up. Terrify me. But those are my fears, and like I said, 2 of them are pretty standard. Like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with being afraid of a cockroach or being afraid of a clown. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That third fear of mine, that third phobia, there is something wrong with that. And so I do actively work on that. And that's my suggestion for this video is if you have a phobia that is not right, work on it. You can admit that, hey, I have a phobia and it's gross. I don't like being afraid of this. Work on it. I do. I work on it. And I try my best to become a better human being each and every day. Each and every day. I want people to feel as good as I would like to feel. So I try to put positivity out there. And if that means that I need to admit to when I'm wrong and I'm not seeing the world as I should, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to admit, hey, you know what? You see the world the wrong way. Change it. Work on yourself. We're not perfect, right? Alright, kiddos. Now that I've laid bare my fears, leave me in the comments what yours are. What are you afraid of? What is I need some material, okay guys? I really do, for next haunt season, alright? I need some material. And if you'd like me to do a character video where you would like to see my different characters, I'll do that. That sounds a lot of fun to me. So leave in the comments whether or not you'd like to see that. Otherwise, until next time, be happy, be safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, and stay away from people. They are absolutely gross. I love you with all my heart.